Copenhagen. Number 111, Tumbleweed. Number 113, Medivuns. Number 119, Sabo. Number 12, Fricks. Number 18, Foxy Phantom. Number 236, Candy. Number 311, Dynamite. 321, Pony Cat. Number 44, Aula. Number 440, Tinker. Number 47, Ons. Number 517, Andy. Not skating, but hi, Andy. Number 54, Speedy Gonzalez. Number 55, Bye. And number 56, Reggae.
Welcome the Copenhagen Roller Derby All-Stars all the way from Denmark, fans. And we are welcoming the hosts of the Big O Roller Derby 2019, the Emerald City All-Stars. That's number 2, Lantuna. Number 113, Block and Roll. Number 117, Hawkins. Number 12, Cobra Kai. Number 16, Bath Assaults. Number 22, Spunky Bruiser. Number 235, Mass Destruction. Number 33, Skinner. 511, Hard Knock Hints. Number 617, Nymphadora Stomps. 75, Vasquez. Number 8, Slapcat. Number 83, Rex Havoc. Number 88, Ice Hole. Number 96, Tempo Tantrum, coached by my wife, Mama Skatrix, and your one and only Scooby Smack. Welcome the Emerald City Roller Derby All-Stars.
And just as a side note, if anyone is on production right now, it seems like our voices are delightful but loud. The officials would like to hear themselves, so you turn us down just a little. Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, we'll try to simmer down while this crowd's pumped up. Number 440 in the white for Copenhagen, Tinker. Not before our one and only Hawkins, your lead jammer. And it looks like we're going to be losing the jammer for Copenhagen for a cut track penalty, 30 seconds.
First penalty of the game.
We also have to give a shout out, of course, to the wonderful skating officials out there on the floor. It's been a wonderful start as Hawkins flies to the outside and recycles back behind the Copenhagen's defense.
And that's a directional penalty, taking another Copenhagen blocker out to the penalty box. Not a great start on that side, but Emerald City calls off the jam. So they'll start with a light Copenhagen and pack to start with.
First points, the Emerald City All-Stars.
And lining up at the jam line, it's number 56, Reggae, in white for Copenhagen versus
number 33, Skinner in the green.
And once again, Emerald takes the lead.
Well, this is a fantastic start for the Emerald City. This is their second game of the tournament series, and they are really looking for some points out there. As a matter of fact, 4 points in the air for Skinner as the pivot for Copenhagen breaks out and dons that star. Successful star pass, Copenhagen.
And that was an amazing block out to the outside line from Copenhagen with only 2 blockers on the line.
7 points on the board for Emerald's Skinner, number 33 in that last jam. Copenhagen now fielding number 12, Fricks, going up against 75, Vasquez.
You know, sometimes you don't even need to hit someone to do an effective block. You take them down with your mind.
Yes, it happens. Gravity. Looks like we have a helmet cover that is dropped. It looks possibly to be a pivot cover. So right now, out for your lead jammer as Copenhagen's jammer takes a seat. Vasquez, number 75 in the green.
Vasquez now having a bit of a struggle up against that Copenhagen wall, getting some great assistance from blocker 113 block and roll.
That's right, teamed up there with Cobra Kai. Those two coming off of our junior roller derby program years ago. I guess I can't say it anymore because they've been on the All-Stars for a while now.
You know what? It's always good to point out where the current skaters come from. And the fact that the junior team is the future of our roller derby community.
Well, these skaters have been to represent the JRDA championships in the past for Emerald City, and now 5 of them are on the All-Stars. Vasquez, Skinner, we have not skating tonight, Boomerang, we have tons of skaters out there, Cobra Kai, so we are a family of derby around here.
That's tremendous. We do have an officials timeout. While we get things together.
We'll talk about how you can hit this. Hit this derby gear is the exclusive skate shop for the Big O. Before you hit the track, hit this.
And now the derby players are hitting each other. We have Nymphadora Stomp skating for Emerald against Fricks re-entering the track for Copenhagen. That power jam is over.
And number 96 taking back the jammer for Copenhagen as well. Another member, Tempo Tantrum, of our previously discussed junior grow up into kick our butts program.
And now, for the first time in this game, Copenhagen has the lead.
Let's hear it, Copenhagen fans. Let Fricks know you want some points on the board. They didn't come from Denmark for nothing. That's Fricks for 4.
And if you're here, you can't hear at home. The entire Copenhagen team just gave a big cheer for that.
That's right, fans. We are announcing both to the audience at home and to the audience in the house. So we hope you're enjoying yourself. If you are and you want to say hi, hashtag Twitter BigO2019.
And that is 4 points, 8 points on the board for Copenhagen. First score of the game, closing that gap with Emerald.
Yeah, Fricks really doing a good job of pushing through. Looks like they're setting up an offensive blocker to try to bust up those walls. That's number 54 in the white, Alex.
And you can see that all of that emerald wall is getting broken up by the Copenhagen blockers and pivot. Number 44 getting in some good offense as number 88 in green comes in ice hole to say, no, you don't get to have our wall.
Fricks going down. It looks like a high block will be issued. And boy, that was an open line for Copenhagen's jammer to take through and really change a lead change, friends. 17 points in that jam. Let's give it up for Copenhagen.
And unfortunately, Copenhagen's jammer Fritz went into the penalty box at the very end of that jam, thereby starting giving Emerald a power jam start for this next jam. But there is a team timeout for Copenhagen, probably to address exactly that issue.
Yes, that is right. But a really great start to this game, feeling that competition.
Seems like we were being a little too American. I apologize to all of the Copenhagen fans out there and the team. We will do our very best to pronounce you properly.
We love you. All right, and we hope you guys are enjoying this second day of action. I'll give you the rundown of what happened on day one. Emerald City did play their first game and had a loss against the Gorge City Roller Derby. At the same time, Copenhagen had their win against Gorge City yesterday and a win against Sonoma. So Copenhagen really taking it at this tournament and in this last jam kind of showing they're here to play.
And I have to say, I saw the Copenhagen-Sonoma game started off slow, and then this team from Denmark took it out and did a pretty wide point spread by the end. So I'm hoping to see a good fight from Emerald today.
Well, right now they're trying to get their jammer, number 33, Skinner, through. Everybody's shuffling up, and this opportunity as number 12 is standing about to be released.
Emerald getting recycled.
Skinner trying to get past number 55 in the white at the front of the pack. That's bye.
Emerald doing a final effort at a 2, then 1, then none. Up comes Fricks.
And before Fricks can put any points on that, 4 points scored for Emerald. Their coaches are pretty happy about that. Lead change. Emerald City 18, Copenhagen 17. Well, I will really enjoy, Mamie, if we have a close game with all the lead changes.
Heck yeah. Then we come in, we have Vasquez in green against Reggae in white. Who is in front? It is Reggae for Copenhagen.
Having to jump off of the hips of Cobra Kai's hit. Let's see if Kai can catch them again. Copenhagen, yeah, one more, but not enough to stop it. 4 more points on the board for Reggae.
And Copenhagen at a bit of a loss. Ponycat is in the penalty box. So 1 blocker short on that Copenhagen wall.
And Emerald City doing a good job of recycling, stringing out, but fantastic Copenhagen's jammer skills of staying in bounds, skating very clean. Reggae for 4 more points.
And I don't know if you can see that in the crowd, but we could sure see it on the broadcast. Reggae's toe stops were the only things in bounds, and that's all you need.
Hey, you just got to be on the right side of the tape. And none for either on that last jam, but that was 12 points on the board for Copenhagen, 29 to Emerald's 18. If you're enjoying yourselves out there on social media, we've been working feverishly all weekend to bring you the live tweets and Facebook coverage throughout the event. We hope you're enjoying your Big O experience.
And lining up on that Derby Warehouse jam line, we now have Hawkins in green for Emerald City and Tinker in white for Copenhagen.
Hawkins with a hip knockout by number 3-2-1. That's Pony.
That is quite a lot of air that jammer saw.
And 3-2-1 going to sit for that as the pivot for Copenhagen and the pivot for Emerald City. Tuna also joining in the penalty box.
Got a little bit of a pivot party in the penalty box.
We have Icehole being instructed to return to the track until a warm seat will open up in the penalty box.
And with absolute attention to the outside line, Tinker just took it around past every skater in Emerald City.
Oh, well, that was a huge jump. 4 points in the air for number 440, Tinker.
Give it up for everyone. What a jam.
I like that. Everybody's really trying. Timeout for Team Emerald.
And I got to say, this is the same pattern that I saw with Sonoma. 1 point, 2 points, 1 point, 2 points, 12 points.
Yeah, those big breakthrough jams will really switch it up. That's why you can never really tell a 30-point game spread is, 2 good jams.
Heck yeah.
And we're really enjoying this matchup. Of course, Emerald having their second game today and Copenhagen having already played twice yesterday. And, at one point you have to wonder, do they run the same rosters? Can you run the same rosters? If you're coming from out of the country, you kind of have what you have. And
exactly.
Sometimes conserving for another game is just not possible.
No, absolutely.
So they're putting it on the track today.
And as we look at all of this derby, and at the Big O, it is all of this derby, please remember that our social media team is working feverishly all weekend to bring you live tweets and Facebook coverage throughout the event. So we appreciate you going onto the Twitter, onto the Facebook, and using hashtag BigO2019 to talk about all that you see.
That's right. And we're coming to the end of that team timeout, getting back on the track, number 4-7 in the white. That's Onse for the first time jamming for Copenhagen. And in the green, we have Skinner, number 33.
Oh, I didn't realize that you already done it. Sorry.
Emerald City.
And what a skate back there from Copenhagen.
At the top of the turn, Slapcat and Rex Havoc's trying to hold back Copenhagen's player number 4-7. Gets a shoulder from Ice Hole. Can't seem to get past the Emerald City's defense as Skinner lapping again, looking for some points.
Slapcat coming in to join Ice Hole at the top, holding Onse back. Getting offense and defense every moment at that top of the track.
And now back to number 44 out there, the pivot for Copenhagen, now back returning to the jammer. That was a beautiful use of a stash and hand back and forth on Copenhagen.
It worked really well. Forced the call off of that jam.
And I really love it. I'm seeing the progression of the stash and the progression of teams passing the jammer helmet cover successfully and really using that as a strategy, a go-to strategy, not just a occasional thing. All right, it's the battle of the 12s. Number 12 in green, Cobra Kai, and 12 in white, Fricks.
Bursting forward from the Derby Warehouse jam line. Bursting forward immediately, Fricks takes the lead.
Explosive forward motion is always a big thing for those jammers. And I really like Fricks's body style and strength, jumping up that inside right behind Kai. Kai, though, the speed coming in, the control, but will the points be there? None for Emerald.
And I gotta say, I'm keeping a sharp eye on Copenhagen's frequent pivot, Ponycat.
Oh,
Pony
yes.
has been absolutely disastrous to opposing jammers. As you see this pivot take the classic absolute pivot form of blocking, offense, and jamming at any moment and switching back and forth easily, fluidly, and dangerously.
Well, right now, Vasquez on the jam line, or excuse me, in the action for Emerald City, and number 55, Reggae for Copenhagen.
Vasquez taking the attempt of breaking the seam, pushing that wall forward, possibly forcing a multiplayer penalty as a number 54, Alex, goes into the box for Copenhagen.
And your lead jammer is Reggae as Vasquez gets out. Finally clear of that brutal Copenhagen defense.
And just as Ponycat returns to the pack and just as Vasquez comes around, that jam is called.
Well, I have had the pleasure of starting to skate once again with these lovely individuals, and it's a pleasure to return to the effort of Derby and remind myself how very much it takes to be out here on the track today. So if you've ever skated, give yourself a hand, and if you love Derby, give these teams a hand.
And in comes Tinker for Copenhagen against Skinner for Emerald.
Skinner
And that
gonna
is a back
recycle.
block.
Was that for Copenhagen's blocker returning number 321 Pony to the penalty box? Spunky Bruiser knocks out Copenhagen's jammer, recycles back, and a big 4 in the sky. Skinner.
Home team crowd very excited about this change of events for Emerald.
We love to see our team do well. When you're hosting a tournament, you got to do it all, and you better do it well. Skinner gets out, calls that. That was 4 points on that last one, and another 4, bringing it to 8 points for number 3-3 Skinner. Our team in green, 38 points, with Copenhagen holding that lead at 49. Number 117, Hawkins, going up against number 55, Reggae. Both teams splitting off pretty quickly into their own separate blocking packs, inching forward on turn 1.
And again, we're seeing a lot of this Emerald strategy of pushing forward through the seam, trying to plow that 3-wall forward rather than trying to juke around them specifically. And again, when Hawkins tried to juke around, rolled into the outside, leaving that lead open for Reggae.
And Reggae taking advantage, getting all the way back up to that 3-wall once again, as Hawkins still needs to get out on their initial pass. Reggae for 4 points, Copenhagen.
The pack is a bit split up as Reggae just takes the inside line with no opposition.
That's a great defensive blocking strategy for Copenhagen. They have them so distracted, they don't even see the jammer coming back in.
And we saw that Copenhagen's jammers saw the star pass over. That was Cobra Kai, you say?
That's right. And again, another member of the former Reservoir Dolls now skating for the All Emerald City, our juniors program, which
fantastic. That's why you have the juniors
it was
in
the
place.
future, and now they're here.
Juniors
the future
Derby,
is
great
now.
Great for the community, great for the team.
And right now, it's great that we have the lead Vasquez, one of the biggest jammers from our Emerald City All-Stars. Calls it right through. No one will get points, but no one will get points.
Fair enough. Way better to get 0 than to get -1.
That's right. Don't give them your point. Everybody's really efficient getting back out there, eager to continue to skate. I'm really pleased to see this well-officiated game really rolling along here. 11 minutes, 58 seconds to go in the first period. That's number 4-7 in the white, Onse, going up against Skinner, number 3-3 in the green.
And attempting to recycle back, number 54.
And
that
the
is Speedy
crowd
Gonzalez.
goes wild for Skinner, becoming that lead jammer for Emerald City.
Emerald coming into a 2-wall. Third blocker saying, I got to do offense. I can't come with you for defense.
That's right. It is all defense right now. They are just trying to conserve those points, trying to stop number 44 from getting out, but Copenhagen's jammer finally gets through. Huge jam for Skinner and the Emerald City All-Stars, really rejuvenating that energy.
6 more points, shutting out Copenhagen for that jam.
Well, when we say huge jam for 6 points, those are some pretty hard-fought points. Seen for the first time, I think, as jammer, or well, maybe a couple times now. Tinker, number 440 in the white, up against Vasquez, number 75 in the green.
And that is a directional penalty, taking out Copenhagen blocker. That is number 37 in the white.
And
there isn't a 37. I totally lied. That was 3,
No,
2, 1.
that was
Pony
Pony.
Cat.
And probably going to be running into some penalty troubles here pretty soon, as these skaters have been in and out of the box. Right now, Copenhagen in a advantageous lead jam status. Let's see, did that flip hip work? Ooh, 3 points for Emerald City. I'm waiting to see the fingers go up of the referee, letting us know as the head ref how many points they're going to award to Copenhagen. None on that last. That was pretty big for Emerald to squeak 3 points in at that last moment.
So now we have, coming from the Derby Warehouse jam line, Skinner for Emerald against Reggae for Copenhagen. Reggae immediately taking that lead from the inside line. Reggae approaches from the inside, bounces to the outside, rolls through, confusing that Emerald wall, passing through the final 2 blockers.
And right now, Emerald losing 1 player to the penalty box as Copenhagen goes up that inside line. That's Reggae breaking up that 3 wall for 4 points.
So far an 8-point jam for Copenhagen as a star is dropped and recovered upon the track for Emerald. We now have new jammer of record, Cobra Kai.
Block and roll taking Copenhagen's jammer out and deciding Copenhagen would like to.
So, all right, I'm going to do one more correction here because honestly, we don't know. Those of us who are here, and that's me and Apple, we're not from Denmark, so we're doing what we can, and we heard from Twitter, and I want you to know that we are hearing you. And Hazenberg has been telling us how to pronounce things, and we hear that you prefer Copenhagen, and that's, therefore, unless we hear again, that's what we're going to say. So, legit, I apologize if we're pronouncing things wrong, but we are making a real effort to do it right.
Well, I know how to say Fricks, and Fricks is scoring points for Copenhagen. Give it up, fans. 4 more for the team in white. Coming out all the way from Denmark. That's got to be a tough flight, so we really appreciate the efforts of everybody at home. We know that you are cheering on your team and you love them, and we want to honor that for you as well.
I appreciate all of the extreme energy that Copenhagen is bringing to this tournament, given that they've come from so very far away. It's got to take it out of you.
Well, it wouldn't be appearing so. They have 2 wins yesterday, and they're doing pretty good right now up against that 3 wall of Emerald City. That is Rex Havoc, Bath as Salt, and Tempo Tantrum trying to stop Fritz. Fritz circles to the outside, does have to recycle, but decides, I'm calling it. So it appears that Copenhagen has not wanted to play the recycle game. When they get hit out, when it looks like they're going to have to run back, they're like, nope, done, call it. And that's a great strategy when you're trying to conserve energy. That's a great strategy when you have a lead, and I'm seeing that a lot.
No, it's really working out for them with an 87-47 game so far. And we did see Emerald get a blocker out just at that last when they were fighting so hard and really doing well against the Copenhagen jammer. Got an out-of-play block. It'll happen.
Yes. Track awareness. Copenhagen losing their jammer for a cut track penalty, giving Vasquez the opportunity to get lead for Emerald City, but not giving the opportunity is number 55. Bye.
Great work by Vasquez and really great work by the entire Emerald wall. There was so much offense against that incredible Copenhagen pack.
Really, really proud of Vasquez fighting hard on those last 2 passes and some quick offense by the Emerald City blockers. Oh, and a huge tumble down, a back block penalty being issued, but it looks like Vasquez is going to take a few moments here, make sure that our skater is safe and okay. Well, fans at home, we're just going to take a few moments for an official timeout.
So what we like to do is just stay quiet for a moment everything's okay. We've got the EMTs on the track. That's what they're there for, and we appreciate them for it. So we will be back with you momentarily.
And we are pleased to see our skaters safely returning to their bench, and our Harmony medic crew. Big shout out to those EMTs and medical personnel keeping all of our skaters safe this weekend. We quite literally cannot have a tournament without them.
And thank goodness for that. Now, in terms of what we're doing moving forward, that puts Hawkins as jammer for Emerald in the box, taking the place of the last jammer who is injured, who will sit out for 3 jams. And it puts Tinker for Copenhagen in the lead.
Tinker really finding those inside lanes and gets behind the wall of Spunky Bruiser and Rex Havoc, who have to string and break off eventually to make sure they are staying within gameplay. Penalty being issued. Looks like we are going to see Rex sitting for 30 seconds for the Emerald City.
And then, fortunately, those players took it out a little too far, sending one of them into the penalty box for out of play, blocking.
Hawkins still struggling up at that turn, trying to get past the Copenhagens. It only is a 3-well at the time. Number 44 kind of hanging back, doesn't even have to wait to just get a hit on. Hawkins trying to get through, and a big waterfall takes them out to the outside.
And that's a high block, sending another player into the box.
Boy, everybody's getting a little fierce out there now, Mamie.
Absolutely. And unfortunately for Emerald, that team is going to start out with 2 blockers in the box, a light pack against this very fierce Copenhagen team.
Well, the 2 blockers they choose to put out to battle is going to be Cobra Kai as your pivot and Tempo Tantrum up there, joined by Block and Roll. Oh, not joined by Block and Roll. Ice Hole, your jammer for the Emerald City. A big pushing jammer trying to get through.
And this is the first time we've seen Cobra Kai start with, oh, is it, hold on, I got the wrong.
Kai's out there blocking. Ice Hole is the jammer. And Fricks, your lead for Copenhagen. And with that deficit starting to clear the bench, and Emerald City returning to a 4 blocking defense. Is it enough to stop Fricks? Well, that's Tempo Tantrum, number 9-6, bringing Fricks back.
And a great hit by Emerald's number 12, Cobra Kai.
Emerald going to lose their jammer to the penalty box. Ice Hole going to sit for 30 seconds for a cut track penalty. That is Copenhagen calling the jam. And
you know,
again,
if you enjoy the Big O and you want more information on the WFTDA Continental Cups or their hosts, visit WFTDA.com/cups.
that's right. I want to give a quick shout out to some of today's skating officials. We've got out there on the track Razor, Polly Dangerous, Ren Stoic, Graffy, Jens Hotker, Circumference, A Whack Job, Read the Rules, Tumbletina, Doof Warrior,
Torque Mama.
and Flourish in Blocks.
Tuck and Roll, D-Baggins, Geo Knitter, and Connie. Thank you, guys.
That's right. We love our skating officials and our volunteers, referees, non-skating officials, and all of you people out there in the world that are watching. You're a part of this too, and we're really happy to have you be a part of the best tournament in the world, if I do say so myself.
You know what? It's the best tournament in the world right now.
It is, and we are so happy that everyone has come out and that you are watching the Emerald City Roller Derby in green going up against, in white, Copenhagen with 2 minutes, 42 seconds to go in this first period. About 50 points separate these teams. You know, that's just a few jams if you're Copenhagen's turn, you know, scoring 17 points.
Absolutely, and we are now in the next jam, Icehole versus Reggae.
Icehole coming off of that last jam with a penalty, now being forced to get back in there to represent the team in green. Icehole coming on to the Emerald City All-Stars this season, and a wonderful addition as a really strong skater pushing through. We're going to see them return to the track shortly. Meanwhile, Copenhagen looking for points. Reggae has to recycle behind Rex Havoc. Big push from number 236 on the offense for Copenhagen. That was Candy.
Candy not stopping those pushes against Jammer, against Blocker. Don't get near, you're gonna get hit.
And a direction of gameplay block being assessed to Spunky Bruiser. Emerald City's Jammer returns and going to field the next Jammer, number 33 Skinner in the green, and number 440 Tinker in the white.
And we are also sponsored today by Eugene Cascades and Coast. Real adventure, real close. Plan your Oregon vacation at Eugene Cascades and Coast.
Skinner hopping at outside line. Lead Jammer Emerald City has to really push because close behind Tinker making up the track. And a speedy pack as Copenhagen goes to the top and tries to not allow number 113 to hang back.
And eventually you just gotta call it. And not a bad job. That was a 0-0 jam.
Yeah, that was a fast one. I could feel the wind. We've got 35 seconds to go in this first period, but you know, as soon as that jam clock starts, there'll be at least 2 minutes for Hawkins 117 to go up against number 18 in the white. First time I've seen Foxy Phantom jamming for Copenhagen.
And up comes Hawkins with an aggressive forward move into that seam, trying to scoot around, gets to the middle as Copenhagen comes around with that. That's the whole purpose of that wall, spin around, hit in all directions.
And Hawkins has to recycle as the string out forces Emerald's blockers to let go of Foxy Phantom, your lead jammer, Copenhagen.
And what a hard hit from Hawkins, knocking down 2 of Copenhagen's blockers as if they were bowling pins.
Well, I've seen Hawkins just really having to struggle to try to get out of this blocking pack. They make him pretty strong there in Denmark.
And you can see that 2 of Emerald's blockers are waiting, not engaging with offense, instead waiting for that Copenhagen jammer to come through as the last line of defense.
Well, we're seeing Emerald definitely listen to those referees when with the stringing and making sure that everyone's staying in play. They cannot afford to lose any skaters to the penalty box.
And with Emerald's blockers all over the track, we've got Foxy Phantom being recycled, a little bit of bridging happening. Then 2 blockers coming in, seeing if they can hold the Phantom back.
It's so hard because these jammers are hard to hold. The blockers can't get through. And so Emerald City really getting strung out, which is of course, wonderful thing for Copenhagen's jammer. Just step right through. And that brings us to the intermission, Mamie. What a fantastic first period.
Heck yes, that was great derby. I'm really excited to see what both of these teams bring to the second half.
That's
but
right.
We've got about 10 minutes to find out.
52 points separates the Emerald City All-Stars from Copenhagen from Denmark. We hope you're enjoying this at home, fans. We'll be back in about 9 minutes.
All right. Come back to the Big O 2019. This is track 3, Emerald City All-Stars versus Copenhagen All-Stars.
I'm Apple Bottoms Up, and I'm really pleased to be on the mic with you, Mamie. It's been fantastic.
It's been amazing.
We've been having a great first period as Copenhagen has been representing for the great country of Denmark here in the United States of America in this fine town of Eugene, Oregon. As a matter of fact, the hosts of the Emerald City are who is sponsoring this entire event along with the Lane County Concussion. And so these All-Stars that you're seeing today have been working for months to get this event up and going. And we hope you guys are enjoying yourselves at home.
This event is always one of my favorites to attend and participate in. The effort here is clear. The organization is clear. And one other thing that is clear as we're coming back to this game, Copenhagen, we've seen them win both games that they've played so far. Yep. They are on track, not guaranteed, but they've shown a lot of fight towards winning this game, and with the same strategy that I've seen both other times, which is they take it easy at the very beginning, suss out what their opponents are like, and customize a strategy against those opponents so that they can come in and just dominate after the first quarter.
Yeah, and what we've seen is Emerald City is answering back with 7, 9 points sometimes, but Copenhagen maybe goes a few jams with 0, 0, 0, and then a 12-point, 14-point. We saw a 17-point jam. And so when they score big. And what I've also seen is they are not being goaded back. They do not play backwards derby. They call the jam immediately, which means they're successful in getting lead jammer quite often in that first period. Well, maybe we better get on the action in the house.
Yes.
Number 3-3 Skinner jamming for the Emerald City up against number 12. That is Fricks.
Fricks in the lead for Copenhagen.
And Skinner.
We see a great hit from number 22, Spunky Bruiser, recycling Copenhagen all the way back. Fricks calls off the jam just as the new jammer of record with that really lovely star pass comes through, forcing that call off, and only gets Copenhagen 1 point. So great speed, Emerald City.
Yes, we have seen wonderful use of the star stash as a kind of default strategy, and both teams using that strategy. I think that's just how it goes in derby now. Number 7-5 Vasquez in the green up against number Reggae 55.
Great to see Vasquez back on the track and back in the lead.
Vasquez is a real point seeker as a jammer. Very quick, agile, jumps right over people. And to the outside line, gonna really squeak by, but trying in that attempt, getting a cut track. So now we have an opportunity for Copenhagen to put some more points on the board in a power jam. 1 minute, 25 seconds to go in this jam clock.
And we see Sabo, the new jammer of record for Copenhagen. This will be the full 2-minute jam. There is no lead jammer. No one is in control except the jam timer.
For the first time in this game. And with that 1 minute to go, Sabo gets past. Meanwhile, Vasquez back in gameplay. And putting in time, got one to beat. Now 2-3 waterfall by the Copenhagen defense, sending Vasquez to the floor. They're back up for 4 points, Emerald City.
Emerald City getting a directional penalty for tempo tantrum. I did not see the penalty for Copenhagen.
And with that split pack stringing out, you wonder who's going to get in trouble with that responsibility to return the pack. And it looks like Ice Hole will sit for Emerald City.
Trading in one blocker for another for Emerald City's bench.
It was always the worst when you're the blocker who breaks breaks up the stringing.
Yeah.
You're like, it's not my fault, but I will go to the box.
But it was someone's fault.
It's everybody's team fault when you get a penalty, right?
Yep.
No, I've earned so many on my own. Well, we are happy to see 4 points on the board for Emerald. Do we have any Emerald City All-Star fans in the house audience today? Wow, that means you guys can hear us and you're really enjoying yourselves. We're happy to have you here at the Big O. Saturday, is that the day we're on?
It is Saturday. For those of you watching on delay, it is Saturday.
Thank you for that, checking in. This is only my first game today, Mamie. What about you?
Mine as well. I did 3 yesterday, and this is my first of today.
That's right. And putting in their third game of the tournament, Copenhagen, your lead jammer, Tinker, being instructed to call it from their bench, and they do 0-0 on that last jam. We do have a official timeout, so that gives us a wonderful chance to give a shout out to our Jamline sponsor, the Derby Warehouse. Don't forget, you can go on to derbywarehouse.com for all your roller derby gear needs, and they are the official Track 3 Jamline sponsor. That's big time.
Since we're mentioning Derby Warehouse, if you do visit derbywarehouse.com for that, there is free shipping, there's free returns. It's just like having a local shop that you don't even have to leave your living room to visit.
Wow, it's like a Derby Prime account. You don't have to borrow it from your mom.
Do you know how much I would pay for Derby Prime? So much. And I don't have to, because Derby Warehouse provides it for me.
That's right. Not sure what the official review is, but out there on the track, the captains will be discussing that with our skating officials.
And we will have the head referee be on the microphone to tell us.
That has worked sometimes in some games, Mamie. We'll see about today.
And while the officials are going off to the side to determine amongst themselves what has been happening in that last jam, I want to remind you to use hashtag #TheBigO2019 in all your tournament posts this weekend, because our social media is going so strong. Help us go strong with it.
Official review has been called by Team Green. They're asking for a cut call on White 440. They're saying that they cut Green 113.
All right, folks, I hope you heard that. We're going to allow the referees to finish up that discussion of the official review. We'll see what happens, if anything, and whether Emerald retains their official review. We were chatting earlier about how much of the Emerald City All-Stars is comprised of junior skaters that have grown into our league, and that is 5 skaters, which means over half of the people on the track at any given time are most likely a lifer, is what I call. They grew up Derby, they were raised Derby, and they physically have it in their blood. Some of our skaters also have relatives, including in one family, mom skates, grandpa skates, daughter skates, brother skates, and so that's one of the best parts about Emerald City, and something that we're very proud of is that we have Derby as a family, and Derby community, as you know, is a family. And Mamie, I didn't catch where your Derby family is.
I am from the Silicon Valley, so I I announce with at least 3 leagues at any given time.
Wow.
Most often with Bay Area Derby, Silicon Valley Roller Girls, and Santa Cruz Derby Girls.
Well, we're really missing having Bay Area this year at the Big O. We've definitely enjoyed their presence in the past. And that's kind of the fun thing about the Big O is every year you're going to get a mashup of different teams. Of course, we have our classics out there like Rose City and Denver. That's been a rivalry to enjoy.
The outcome of the official review is that the no call stands. No call has been made on white 440. Thank you.
Well, it looks like that official review means that the call will be upheld, or the no call will be upheld.
The no call will stand.
So that is a loss of official review.
All right, keeping them safe out there and returning to gameplay. Number 117 in the green, Hawkins. Number 18 in the white, Pony Phantom. Everybody at the top of the pivot line, getting off of that turn 1 immediately.
And what great one-person blocking from number 33. That is Skinner.
And that was enough to have Pony hit it and quit it. 0 points on that last pass. Well, I should say hit lead and quit it. Speaking of, if you guys have enjoyed yourselves and you want to share your memories to everyone, whether that's sitting at home watching online, show us your cats and dogs watching Derby with you. I know it sounds a little crazy, but it's really cute. You can hashtag Big O Cats and hashtag Big O Dogs, and they will come up if you're at home. If you're on the track, you're seeing Vasquez jump over the jammer, and Vasquez is still out as Copenhagen's jammer getting a penalty. Number 12 is going to sit. It's a power jam, Emerald City.
And what bad timing for Copenhagen. As you saw on the feed, Fricks attempted to call off the jam, but had already been called out on a penalty, so had already lost lead jam status.
And a wonderful opportunity for Vasquez to do some smart gameplay. We've seen some really hard hits out there. And right now, Vasquez putting 4 points on the board for their team.
What amazing footwork from Vasquez, just slipping through past every skater on the inside line. Tries it again, and Copenhagen has already learned that move.
I will say Vasquez has a wonderful grit and an attitude of just, I'm never going to stop. I just have to keep going. And that's what every jammer hopes to have, and the energy to keep going.
Vasquez attempts to call off the jam and then is reminded there is no lead jammer.
We have 43 seconds to go, fans. Cheer your jammer on.
And we have had a Star Pass new jammer of record, Aula, for Copenhagen.
Both Land Tuna and Ice Hole not enough to stop Copenhagen's jammer, but 22 seconds means there are points to be had for the team in white. As that Star Pass successful, 44 knocked to the inside line, has to recycle.
2 brand new jammers.
That's right, Spunky Bruiser in the green, finishing out the last 4 seconds of this jam. Wow, Mamie, that was fantastic.
Up for that jam. What an amazing bunch of players.
There was 2 Star Passes twice or something like that.
You can't have Star Passes twice.
Something like that.
The game would never end.
Yeah.
But yes, we had each team do a Star Pass.
That's
we had
right.
each team attempt to call off the jam when they were not the lead. We had each team fight so hard with their blockers and keep those jammers back in a way that we don't often see with these 2 teams. That, I think, was the hardest hitting jam that we've had this entire game, and I am stoked.
I'm tired. And we have a timeout being requested politely by the Copenhagen bench, and they would like to kind of regroup. And, you know, at 130 points to 69 points, Emerald City putting up a really big fight on that last one. 10 points on the board for Vasquez and Bruiser. I'm not sure it was a combo.
I think so. I think you're right.
And 4 points answered by Copenhagen. So that has to feel good for Team Emerald.
Absolutely.
That feels real good.
And my interactions with Team Copenhagen so far have been nothing but stellar.
Oh, yes.
This team has such great sportsmanship. This team has such a great, friendly attitude. I love them. I want them to stay forever, honestly.
Like, I'm watching them taping and tying each other up at the bench right now, and somebody's friend or grandma's over here helping them out, and it's pretty cute.
It's wonderful.
We come together to make sure. If we need to tape your gear back together, we will get you on the track. Number 3-3, Skinner in the white up against number 55 or 6, Reggae, number 55 in the white.
And that is a multiplayer block taking out Emerald City Blocker. Which blocker is that? That's number 83, Rex Havoc.
I will correct myself. Reggae's number is 56. Kind of hard to see with those uniforms, but 55's out there by blocking still as the pivot. So 56, Reggae pushing at the top for Copenhagen and being told, just keep pushing. It worked. 4 points on the board, and lead jammer Copenhagen.
And again, number 236 for Copenhagen going into the box. That's Candy, and we've seen Candy in the box a few times. Fingers crossed that it's not too many.
That's right, and stringing out to the top of the pack, Slapcat going to get a penalty for not returning quickly enough to reform the pack. And also the pivot from Copenhagen going to sit for a 30-second break.
We now have 3 members of the Copenhagen wall in the box, only one of them standing. This is an amazing opportunity for Emerald City.
That's right, Emerald City fans, give it up. Tempo Tantrum now now jamming. And a big hit by Kylie, block and roll.
And at last, that jam is called. Amazing work by Emerald City in the midst of that confusion with an 8-11 jam. That is only 3 points gained by Copenhagen.
That's great. Right now, 20 minutes to go. We can see what's going to start happening again. Copenhagen having played 2 games yesterday and traveled from, kind of far away. Wondering if the fatigue and those types of factors can be a benefit at this point for Emerald City. That may be one of the only benefits because they are a strong team to go up against. And true to form, Emerald City taking that opportunity as Hawkins, your lead jammer. Quickly behind is Tinker. Hawkins throwing themselves in and very demonstratively calling off the jam. The most demonstrative jam call-off of the jam.
I do like it when jammers are very explicit when they're with their call-offs, because then I can tell what they're doing.
Yeah.
Some jammers, they signal on their hips like it's a secret between them and the ref.
I think those days are only if you are not squished between all the bodies. I mean,
Absolutely.
Sometimes you see a jammer trying to call it and their arms are kind of locked in.
And in that case, Hawkins was so far away from the ref that I would do the same thing. I would jump up and down and say, these are my hips.
Yes. Right now, as your lead jammer is Fricks, Copenhagen.
Vasquez getting pushed to the outside by number 55. That is for Copenhagen. That's by.
That's by. Number 75, Vasquez, really has to push through this 3-wall and just struggling right now, looking for a little help from their friends as a cut track penalty. Fricks is going to sit 30 seconds of freedom for Emerald City.
And I've got to say, for the Copenhagen Jammers, the cutting track penalty is their most common penalty.
That has been the pattern, and we've seen a lot of failure to reform penalties being issued for Emerald City's blockers today.
And with the Copenhagen jammer and pivot in the penalty box, there's not going to be a star pass from them for a while. Or maybe they'll just pass it back and forth in the penalty box and then re-enter the track. I don't know their life.
Cobra Kai will sit for 30 seconds. She attempted to knock out the blockers, but inadvertently knocked them into Vasquez. Vasquez having to recycle all the way back behind Copenhagen's blocking team. And Fricks back on the track looking for some action. Gets past Tempo Tantrum for 4 points.
And this will be another 2-minute jam. There is no lead.
Which is exhausting for those teams out there. 2 minutes, they start to add up. 4 points on the board for Fricks. Vasquez has one to beat, but gets knocked out by Candy. And that combination with Bai.
Look at that intense, frenetic offensive blocking by number 54, Alex, Speedy Gonzalez.
That's right.
That is impressive, especially at this point in the game when another player might be getting tired.
Yeah.
This player is just coming forward saying, I just woke up from a nap. Let's get it.
I'm hungry. Nom.
You're between me and my coffee.
Number 3-3, Skinner in the green up against Foxy Phantom. Number 1-8 in the white. Skinner jumps, landing on the knees and recycles to be safe. A very smart play. We have no ability to afford penalties for the Emerald Cities All-Stars at this point in the game. They have to make up the points and get to that century mark.
And you can see Foxy Phantom looking back, asking, is there any assistance to be had from an offensive blocker? And the answer is no. All blockers were making a bridge until now.
Well, that's right. Led by Land, Tuna, Ice Hole, and Bruiser. It's still a waterfalling 3-wall in control of Foxy. Now penalties being issued. Skaters leaving and breaking up those strings. Emerald City's only got a few more inches before they're going to get a penalty, and they do. Ice Hole, same, once again, failure to reform or no pack being called, and the skater continuing to engage with the jammer. Cannot do it.
That kind of track awareness can be very difficult at that stage.
And again, Ice Hole, first year on the All-Stars, so some of these, you know, I've been through it as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Takes a long time to really feel out what that 20-foot and 10-foot looks like, and it just takes
frankly,
a few seconds. It's over.
if you're really focused on blocking that jammer, and you are being so successful at blocking that jammer, if that's where your mind is, you might ignore that 20 feet.
Did you ignore that? That was Skinner with a huge hit to the out and playing the backwards derby.
Foxy Phantom getting some flying lessons on the fly.
Oh, that was exciting, fans. Any Skinner fans in the house like that?
Oh, all the Skinner fans in the house like that.
Really proud of this blocking team, and everybody's really pushing it out there today. Let's make sure you're having a good time. Visit us online as your host at the Big O, hashtag Big O 2019. Let us know how you're doing. Post your pictures. Go take your photo in front of our lovely Big O black backdrop.
And now we have, again, Hawkins versus Tinker. Tinker takes it immediately from the inside line, comes into the lead.
Tinker, a petite jammer, but very powerful up those inside lines with that wonderful forward movement, smooth skating. And another 4 points on the board for Copenhagen. Little hip bump out by Slapcat, but Slapcat prevented from recycling back by number 44. They're going to try to fool her and send Land Tuna back.
And it worked.
That's right. Land Tuna, a blocking pivot most of the time for Emerald City, but not quite as much tonight, leading a lot of those 3 walls at the top. Cobra Kai as the pivot for Emerald City at the back, being held by Copenhagen's defense.
And that is illegal contact, sending Emerald out into the penalty box one more time.
Wow.
I enjoy that new hand signal, that sort of chopping movement for the illegal contact.
Oh, that's right. So if you're new to Derby or it's been a minute since you heard, several penalties have kind of been categorized into this illegal contact, chopping of the hand signal.
I honestly
Don't ask me
really
which
enjoy
ones.
I really enjoy the new setup.
Yeah.
It makes it easier to follow. It makes it easier to signal. and the
discretion
removal
of the
the
refs.
jammer point
Yeah.
means that everyone is clear about what points are available. I enjoy it.
Yes, and the ability of the referees to use discretion about egregious hits by jammers in legal hitting zones is also new. Have not seen too many of those penalties this weekend.
And I will say that Dynamite just went off the track for a forearm penalty, so Copenhagen's down 1 and another forearm. Look at that very clear signaling from our officials. Wonderful opportunity for Emerald City, given the power.
That's Ren out there. And right now, we have the jammer for Emerald City, Ice Hole.
This was the first time we've really seen that strategy be effective for Emerald. They knew that their jammer could take that front pack, so they held back to extend the pack and forced Copenhagen to let go. And one more time.
A huge response from the audience. Ice Hole making their debut, jamming points for Emerald City in this game. That was 4 points. Give it up, fans. Emerald City taking advantage of the penalties inflicted by the Copenhagen's roster. And what we were talking about earlier, that may be their only saving grace right now, is the fact that in a tournament play, people start to get tired. Penalties start to affect gameplay, who can go out. Injuries start to occur. Hope that does not happen. So teams sometimes kind of have to look at the long picture. Do we need to play again today? Do we need to play again tomorrow? What is the value of pushing your team to that point? You have to, coaches have to make those decisions.
And I don't know how tired Fricks is, because look at that immediately jam. And
looks pretty happy to me.
With a grin and a point to the bench, Fricks is re-engaging the pack.
And a point by Cobra Kai requesting a cut and gets it on Fricks, going to the penalty box in disagreement with the referee, but now the referee calling them back onto the onto the track.
And of course, instantly calling off the jam, because you can see Emerald circling in since they had the time to do so.
So a little bit of a miscommunication in that last jam. I don't think anybody's going to call any official discussion about that, but
the officials are taking a moment amongst themselves to ask, do we need to take additional action? And it looks like everyone's just skating out onto the track. We're good.
Sounds good. Let's keep going. 168 Copenhagen, 93 Emerald City, 10 minutes to go and some change. Some change for Vasquez to be jam for the Emerald City. And out there is Foxy Phantom in the white. Being taken back behind Block and Roll, and Slapcat trying to team up against Foxy Phantom.
Now we do have Tumbleweed in the box already. We have another player going into the box now. And
Vasquez.
That is a power jam for Copenhagen. Vasquez, did you see what penalty that was?
I did not. We are on the other side of the camera angle, friends, so
Alas.
some of these you're going to have to tell us at home.
Yes, what you are seeing is not the angle at which we are.
We're enjoying ourselves immensely, though, Mimi. This is a fast-paced, wonderful game with 9 minutes, 54 seconds to go. Foxy Phantom out there for Copenhagen.
And all right, Foxy Phantom rolling around, using the physical force of her opposition to come forward, then deciding, you know what, we're 168 to 93. Maybe I could take it easy for a minute.
What I've noticed is Copenhagen not really having to utilize the bench track coaches that are stationed at the opposite ends of the track. And other teams really paying attention to when they're told to call it off. It seems that Copenhagen has very much been successful in allowing their jammers to make that determination. The jammers are seemingly trained to not be goaded back. They immediately call it. They're like, we're not going to play that. We're going to lead again, and we're going to get those points again.
That also tells me that Copenhagen's players have tremendous track awareness, that they don't need another set of eyes to tell them what's going on.
I do see them paying attention, but again, I don't really see the call-off being determined by the bench. I do see it being determined by the jammer.
And we're going to see that one more time with Tinker as the lead jammer for Copenhagen, coming in for another 4 points.
We've got Isol out there for Emerald City, but right now getting taken to the inside line by number 54, Alex. You were talking about Alex earlier being a wonderful asset on the blocking offense and defense. We've seen quite a bit today. You know, you have to play to a player's strengths, but it just seems like this Copenhagen roster can do it all.
And that is a directional penalty being called against Copenhagen blocker. That is number 44, Eola. And I apologize for those at home. I'm still trying.
Eula. I do like saying it. And we have jamming in there, sneaking through the inside and calls it 1 point on the board for Copenhagen. That was a wonderful 13-point jam, bringing your score 185 to 93.
And just as a reminder, the Big O is brought to you in part by the acclaimed Rydell Solaris. Solaris, the performance you demand, the comfort you've been missing.
Well, I was talking to a few skaters who have been out there trying on all the different boots over there at the Hit This station and the Rydell station. And so everybody wants to buy a new pair of boots, and today's the day. And we'll see if she gets the Rydell Solaris.
I hear wonderful things about the Solaris. I hear it's like skating on clouds.
It's one of those things I don't dare try them on because then I couldn't go back to my other skates.
I know, right?
Right now we have Skinner out there, followed closely by Reggae in the white, leading and ready to call that jam. 0 points for everyone.
We are also sponsored by the Eugene Weekly. Eugene Weekly is Lane County's local, alternative, and free newspaper. Your insight into Eugene can be found online at eugeneweekly.com.
Don't forget, we got lots of mashups later on today. We're going to be featuring on track 3. You can watch Sailor versus Boston, Penn Jersey versus San Diego. On track 1 at 8 o'clock, Rose Montreal.
And Emerald, bad timing, gets a cutting the track penalty. Vasquez goes to the box to think about that for 30 seconds. Fricks is still trying to get out, so lead is still available.
Well, Emerald City really doesn't want to allow this to transpire. We do not want any more leads by those Copenhagen skaters. They have seemingly predominated the lead status throughout this second period. And not today, Tempo Tantrum gonna recycle that jammer back. Everybody's out of the penalty box now, Mamie.
And that means that we have a full pack, full force.
And once again, that track awareness, one thing again we keep hearing is that failure to reform and the stringing getting a little too far apart. But it just shows that Copenhagen has done a great job offensively forcing the stringing of the Emerald City defense.
Absolutely. And that's taking a forearm penalty, takes by number 55 for Copenhagen into the penalty box. And again, another Copenhagen skater just got another penalty. That is number 54, Alex.
And to join Alex, Emerald City fans, it's a power jam as Copenhagen loses Fricks to the penalty box. 4 minutes, 25 seconds to go. Vasquez looking.
That was dynamite from Copenhagen getting that hit in.
Swapping out for number 55, Bai, to return. It's a 2-blocker to beat Vasquez up that inside line on the whistle. 4 points, Emerald City.
Give it up for your hometown team. That was amazing.
Emerald City looking to get over to that century mark. Going to take a team timeout and talk about how will we get over that 100-point mark against these Denmark skaters, these fantastic Copenhagen players, the
They
all-stars.
just did. With those last 4 points, 101 to 189.
I just needed to wait for the points to get on the board, Mamie.
You know what? The scoreboard operator can't put it down unless it's totally official.
That's
so.
right. But right now they have a team timeout, so Emerald City is going to regroup. They've done a fantastic job against Copenhagen again with 2 wins already this weekend and still games to play tomorrow, I believe. Or is this Copenhagen? Yeah, tomorrow against Palouse at 2:30. Copenhagen does have to save some of their talent.
Absolutely. And if you are anywhere near Eugene, Oregon, we would
Yes.
love to see you at the Beer Stein tonight, 59-1. Is that Willamette?
Willamette Street.
Willamette
it's
Street.
the famous river you drove over to get
You know,
here.
I know, and yet someone told me 3 different pronunciations
Willamette?
and said that Willamette was right, so every time I go through all 3, it's a tragedy. It's 9 p.m., 21 and over, dinner and drinks at the Beer Stein. Beer Stein offers 30 revolving taps, 1,000 different bottles of beer, you guys.
It's insane. It's literally a wall of refrigeration with every beer, every alcoholic thing you could ever imagine.
And they have delicious foods like sandwiches,
Yes.
soups, and fresh salads, and delicious lead jams like the one that Skinner has
Nom,
just
nom,
provided.
nom. 3 minutes, 42 seconds to go. We have everybody except one Copenhagen blocker on the track. And Skinner recycles back behind number 321 Pony. And out of the pack, but not your lead, is Fricks.
And we have returning back number 311 Dynamite, completing the pack.
So proud of these Emerald City All-Stars for putting up such a fight against and not stopping. We still have plenty of action to go, fans, but we really hope that you've enjoyed the Emerald City's efforts against what has appeared to be Copenhagen's very finest hour.
No, Copenhagen has been bringing so much into this tournament. I can't wait to see them in any games they do all over the world.
Yes, and I'm sure the fans at home are so proud of their skaters. Right now, a little jammer jostling between Vasquez and Tinker, both trying to get out. I do hear a penalty being issued for the blocker of Copenhagen. Number 44 going to sit for a moment. And Vasquez at the top has 2 to beat, trying that football spin, but getting locked back in behind Copenhagen's blockers. To the outside, knocked out, and a recycle by, that's Alex out there once again recycling Vasquez.
Sabo pivot for the Copenhagen All-Stars, returning to the track just in time to assist in Tinker's getting out. And this is a power jam for Tinker.
That's right. Skipping on those toe stops and being instructed to call it. Definitely listening to the track coach today. Tinker with 1 minute 49 seconds to go, trying to jostle out every jam we can score points on.
And with this, really good strategy, because this means that Copenhagen will begin with a power jam with very nearly the full 30 seconds in the box.
And with that 5-second call, everybody shifting up to the pivot line, trying not to string out as much on this one, but it looks like already strung to capacity. The Emerald City has to let go of Pony.
Foxy Phantom coming
Excuse me,
into
Foxy.
the lead. Foxy Phantom engaging the final 2 blockers of the Emerald team, pushing so hard that they just glide into that 20-yard line.
That's right. They've really done the stringing thing well today, but Copenhagen pushing it to its end. And right now, Foxy gets out for another 4 points.
And it can be hard to tell from that angle, but that was the correct move by the Emerald blockers because they were indeed that far away from the pack.
As Emerald City's bench looks on as Vasquez sits for a 30-second penalty, it's all the blockers or nothing. Give it up for Emerald City's blockers out there, fans.
And we're seeing Copenhagen use a strategy very
Split 'em up.
effectively of the busting the seam that we
Yep.
saw Emerald try repeatedly in this game. In this case, a jammer like Foxy Phantom is just going to go through the wall. Doesn't need to get around, just
Yes.
needs to go through.
And it does seem that stringing out is not effective against this team. You have to stay together against them. They're just simply too strong, and they just push right through.
And with 0 seconds on the period clock, this will be the last jam of this game. And that is it, the last jam of the game. Give it up for both of these amazing teams.
Wow, fans, everybody left it on the floor. We are so happy to see the smiling faces of Denmark's Copenhagen All-Star Roller Derby.
And again, a big shout out to Emerald City as a league and as the All-Stars for coming and playing this amazing game.
It was everybody's efforts to get this game underway, and we could not be prouder of the All-Stars of Emerald City. Hosting a game and playing, we know, is always such a challenge, and they did a very fine job. Give yourselves a round of applause, and make sure you come down and give some high fives to these skaters, friends.
And now with the final score up on the board, 105 Emerald to 211 Copenhagen. Thank you all so much for being in attendance to this game, whether it's at home or actually here. I have been Mamie Theisenhauer.
I'm Apple Bottoms Up.
Have a good day.
Thank you.